You know that time in your life when nothing feels right? Everything just feels like drifting apart, nothing is clicking, nothing is vibing, and you just don't feel like yourself. Have you ever asked yourself, how do I build a life that I love? How do I build an intentional life? How do I build something which I can enjoy every day? Now, this is the question which I was also asking myself a couple of years back, and I tried a lot of experiments, lot of methods, and finally came to few of the techniques which really worked around for me, and I'm sure this will work for you as well because I have time tested it among many people whom I've trained across different years so far. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are gonna explore how to build a life that you love, the real techniques for it, so that by the end of this video, you are able to have the clarity on what kind of life you want and how are you going to build about it. Before you start, I would request you to subscribe to this channel because if you are someone who is really eager to grow, who is really eager to live your beautiful life and know the techniques to do it, then definitely this channel is going to be the one. And all the videos in the past which we have created or the ones which are coming across is all about the techniques you need to live a beautiful life where everything is balanced and beautiful. Before we deep dive into the technique and the process, I would first like to introduce you to this whole concept of intentional living. What does it really mean to have an intentional life? So there are four things around it. Number one, you are living a life where you can spend time on what you want, with whom you want, and whenever you want it. So you have complete time freedom. Number two, you are free of traditional norms and the processes and the things which are not serving you anymore. Anything that's not serving you anymore, which has been traditional, which has been there since very long, you should be free of it. Number three, a life where you are doing very little of what you don't want to do and more of what you want to do. And finally, a life with very limited obligations and maximum freedom as much as possible. So these are the four things that actually make up the whole intentional living and where you can truly be yourself. Now, moving on how to actually identify where you really want to start from, you need to understand this concept of wheel of life. I am sure you're thinking, oh my god, so many concepts, but you really have to understand the basics before you actually dive into the process. So this concept is called wheel of life, and I'm sure most of you already know about it. But let me just take you through it again if you're already aware of it. This wheel of life basically comprises of 8 areas, which significantly takes up most of your life, and it has to be in balance for you to live an intentional life. Now, I just felt that 8 areas are not enough, and there are 4 more additional areas which we have to look into. So I have made it 12 areas of life, which you can see in the screen. These areas comprises of each and every aspect of your life. Now, each of these areas has to have a good balance so that you can actually live a life which you truly love, and you can build something that you can wake up to every day and have a good contentment and satisfaction regards to your life. Now, moving on to the process, the first step is to assess. So let me first explain you all the 12 areas of life before we deep dive into this process, because some of the areas might be really new to you and you need to be aware of what it really means. So the first is the physical health. So physical health definitely does not even just mean that you shouldn't have any diseases. It can associate with lack of flexibility, lack of stamina, lack of strength, a lack of energy throughout the day. So it can even comprise of that. Number two is emotional and mental health. When it comes to emotional and mental health, it's equally important, because if your mental health and your emotional health is deteriorated, ultimately it will show to your physical health. That's the whole science of our body. Ultimately, your stress levels, your anxiety, your overthinking, your emotional regulations all should be in control so that you can have a good mood, good energy throughout the day, and at the same time the quality of your relationships will also get affected because of this. The third is the financial health. Now, what is there in this world without money, right? So this basically comprises of your savings, investments, budgeting, and all of your financial health. It's not just about how much you're earning, but it's also about how much you're saving, how much you're investing, how much you're spending, because spending is also very necessary at the same time. So this is a complete balance check of your financial health and what you really want to aspire to achieve. Number four is the quality of your relationship with your family. Now, family can comprise of your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your relatives, everyone, right? So the quality of your relationship with your family, how much quality time you're spending, comes in this category. The fifth is your romantic life, which is the life which you have with your life partner, whether she is your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, or anyone. So any kind of relationship which has romance involved in it or love involved in it, in its sense, that is where this category comes into. So the quality of your life, the quality of your partnership with them really determines this category. So the sixth category is the quality of your relationships with your friends, which is also equally important, which we tend to overlook as we grow into adults. So the quality of people you're surrounding yourself with at your office, outside your office, your old school friends, college friends, all of this comes into place. So the quality of friendships you have, whether they're toxic, whether they're growth mindseted, it completely depends on you. So this is something which falls into this category. The next category is your physical environment. Now, what kind of environment you are living in? What does your surrounding, your neighborhood looks like? So everything around you, everything around in your neighborhood, your community comes into this category. The next is your work environment. So definitely you are spending more than 8 hours of your day at your workplace, whether it's work from home or work from office. The quality of your work life, the people in your work life, the environment of your work also impacts a lot of your life which you're building. So what kind of work environment do you want? What kind of place do you want to work in? So all of this also has to be determined, assessed in this category. The next we are looking into is your adventurous life. So what kind of adventures you want, what kind of experiences you want in your life that will make your life fulfilling, it's going to make your life worthwhile, has to be determined into this category. The next is your learning and development. Since I also come from learning and development career, it is also a very important aspect for me, and I always promote this category. So learning and development is definitely your skill development, how you're growing. So it can be any kind of skills. It's not necessary that you have to learn Excel all the time. No. So it can be anything. It may be related to your hobbies. It may be related to your work, your personal growth, professional growth, anything. Next is your career. I just took it at the end because in all the other videos, usually focus it in the top. So career is basically how you're growing in your career. How do you feel like, whether you're pursuing the career of your choice, or is it something you're just conditioned by society and your parents to pursue it. So this is something which you really have to determine, and what kind of growth you're looking forward to in this category. And finally, your spiritual life, right? So we all need to have this kind of some kind of spirituality. Again, it's your choice. I'm not saying that each and every person is spiritual or is in this path, but I have seen a lot of changes in people, a lot of growth in the people who are into this path. So figure out what kind of spiritual practices you want to pursue, what kind of things you really want to do for your spiritual life, and all of it. So these are the 12 categories in which we are going to now take the next step to identify, assess, and make some improvements over there. Now, as you can see these 12 areas of life in your screen, I would want you to take out your pen and the notebook and list down all the 12 areas in your pen and notebook. You can pause the video if you feel that you need some time. Moving on, I would want you to rate each of these areas on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, here you have to be very honest with yourself, because ideally, whenever we are doing a self-assessment, we tend to overestimate ourselves and give a higher number to it. So here, definitely, I would request you to be really honest and rather underestimate yourself, so there is more room of growth rather than overestimating. You can again pause this video and take your time, because it would definitely take 5-6 minutes of your time to think about it. Now, to move a step further, I would want you to make 2 columns in the side for each of the area and write your current state and a desired state for each of these areas. So let's say you are in your career. So what's your current status in your career? How do you feel about your career? And in the desired state, you can write where you want to be, how do you see yourself, and what do you want to feel. Once you have done it, now it's time to make the action plan. So I would want you to really take time for this and make again a column for each of the areas and write all the action steps which you need to take from going from the current state to the desired state. Now, this list of actions can be quite long as well and quite short as well, depending on the current state which you are in and where you want to reach. So it absolutely depends on you. Here you have to be absolutely true to yourself and write all of those action steps which you can think right now. It might change tomorrow. There might be some additions to it tomorrow, but just focus on it, what you feel right now. You can again pause this video to take some time to do it for every area of your life. Now, congratulate yourself, because you have actually identified the actions in each category which you need to take, because that's something where you have won 70-80% of the battle. Now it's just 20% of it. So for the next step, you are supposed to identify few areas out of those 12 which are extremely important to you right now. Now, I know that maximum people would go for relationships, career and finances. Even health is the fourth priority right now with the people I have checked into. But definitely be true to yourself, right? Because if your career is already in a good place, then just don't keep on focusing in it all the time. Try to find out another area. But if it's really not, then definitely go for it. Not against career, but I'm just saying that don't make it your whole life. So identify the three areas, or anything which you have capacity for, maybe 5, or even if you just want to go for 12, that's well and fine. So identify a few areas which you really want to start working on for the experiment, or let's say for just the start. Now, for those areas, try to also make a choice of actions which you want to start with, because you really can't do all the actions all together at once, right? So if you have listed out 5 actions for one category, then just figure out 1 or 2 you really want to start with. Now, once you've identified the steps you really want to take, please make sure that it is small and manageable. The next step is to keep on experimenting with it. It's not necessary that the action plan you have made is accurate, or it's something which will go ahead with your plan, because life doesn't work as you plan, right? So in that case, you really need to experiment with it and be open that if it doesn't work out, you'll figure out something else. Not you completely give up. So make sure that you're ready to experiment and not giving up. Another thing which can really add to this journey of building a life that you want is to have an accountability partner, because once you're doing it with someone else, then you really have the motivation. It's just like that when you go to a gym with a friend, there's a high chance that you would continue it more often than just leaving it in between. Search for an accountability partner who is more growth mindset than you, or at least equally growth mindset than you, because if there's someone who is absolutely very lazy, then they're not going to help you out. Figure out a partner. That's first step. The second step is to visualize the outcomes every day which you want out of it. Feel the feeling which you would feel after you have achieved the outcome every day. Now, how can you do this? Is by practicing creative visualization. I have also created another video on creative visualization, which you can go and look into it. So this is the second technique which you need to pursue as you are progressing into this journey of building a life that you want. The third thing which you can do is to have a daily plan of action for the categories which you have chosen. Now, you cannot pursue all the categories all together in a single day. So maybe you can have a certain time for your health. Maybe you can have certain things which you want to do for your career, something which you want to do for your own learning, maybe 10 minutes of reading a book or 10 minutes of taking a course, anything as such. But try to incorporate 3 to 5 activities from that action plan every day into your life. It can vary in every few days as well, because if you just constantly keep on doing the same thing every day, in the beginning, the mind, tends to be feeling bored and you wouldn't want to continue. So that's the reason I'm saying that try to have a variety in the plan of action as well over the course of time, so that you feel constantly innovated and new things are coming into your life. And finally, have some reflections. Because in this journey, if you're not reflecting, if you're constantly pursuing something, some things may be working out, some things may be not. And at that point of time, if you're not reflecting, you wouldn't be able to know. And again, you will have the same feeling that life is not as I want, life is drifting apart and all sort of it. So it's really important that you keep on self-reflecting, do the self-reflection every week. If you cannot do it every day, just see what you're feeling towards it. For example, when I started taking care of my health, I went gym, right? Then I pursued it for a couple of months, and then I felt that, it's not working out for me. Gym is not for me. In fact, I was feeling much more tired and my blood pressure went much more low. So then I tried yoga. So yoga was good for me. But then when I was doing yoga, some of the days I was starting to feel boring, but yoga was working out for me. So what do I do to bring in more variety and at the same time maintain health? So I started also doing wall Pilates, experimented with wall Pilates, and I loved it. So some days I have yoga, some days I have wall Pilates, and then I also learned swimming, which was a part of my learning and development plan. And I realized that swimming is also something which I love. So whenever I got a chance, I took out some time to swim as well. So some days I used to do yoga, some days I used to swim in the summer, and some days I used to do wall Pilates. Now, on the days when I was not even feeling to do anything out of it, I used to just go out for a walk, half an hour walk, and it worked for me. So this is the kind of experimentation you do, but this only comes after doing a lot of self-reflection. Try these techniques and let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Is there something which I missed out, and what other videos you would want to learn about? What are the techniques which you want to learn about? What other videos you want me to create so that it can help you for your life, for your career, and for your growth? Share everything in the comments below, and do share it with your friends. Do give it a subscribe, because it will be a really good boost to this new channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.